Dancing, yeah. So here we go. Just waiting for this thing to kick up. Got green. Everyone's looking good. How are you? How are you doing? How's everything going tonight? Apparently I'm live, but just waiting for some people to bounce in here. I know it's kind of an unannounced stream, but we're going to be doing this every Wednesday night. Every Wednesday night. Is tonight Wednesday? I got to think it for a second here. Yeah, it's going to be Wednesday. It's Wednesday right now. So hello. What's up? Jeff is here. Good. Well, Jeff, you may be the only one tonight. We got Moonshot 2020 bouncing in saying, hey now. So I'll let a few more people just kind of come in the room here. Hopefully, let me know if the sound's good. Carl Lewis, comedian Carl Lewis bounced in. Always good to see you, my man. What's going on? He gave me the 3 thumbs up, which I really like, I have to say. I enjoy that. So I do have a little bit of a new setup. As you can see, I'm in my Miami Beach, South Beach loft right now. And it's a little hot. The air is not as great as I would like it, but you know, it's kind of hot out there anyway. XRP New Zealand, can you come to Chip Island? You are always welcome at Chip Island. Let me know if the sound's okay. Let me know if everything sounds decent. We got some really awesome stuff to come, hit through tonight. Funny thing is that there's so much weird stuff going on out there. I mean, anybody heard of this thing, this virus everyone's been talking about? There's a lot of stuff going on about this virus, right? It's on the top of everybody's mind. Yeah, so that's something. Guys, retweet this out there. Vetbro, what's going on? $10,000 question. Will XRP go lower? Yes, it will. All right. No, stay in the stream, please. No, don't go anywhere. It's going to be okay. I'm going to put your mind at ease tonight. Everything's going to be okay. Grab a nice little drinky poo. Come on over, grab your smoking jacket or whatever makes you feel comfortable. If you got a onesie with the feet in it, I'm good with that too. I'm good with that. Just bounce in here. Let me know what you like. Periscript song request. So who's over there on, who's coming over? So someone's over on Twitter. Who is that? On Twitter. Let me pull up I see them popping in there. Oh, Nitro Dubs. Okay, song request. Yeah, why not, man? You can request all the songs you want. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but maybe Carl Lewis will sing. Maybe we'll have to get Carl Lewis on here singing for you. But I think we're going to cover a lot of stuff tonight. I got to keep an idea on the time because, otherwise I get into Jeff and DNI territory. Jeff streamed last night. Looks like we're going to settle on somewhat of a schedule. We got Tuesday nights that Jeff's going to be streaming. We got Wednesday night, 9:30, 10-ish, somewhere in there. And then tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, you know it, you love it. You cannot live without it. At least that's what we heard from the crowd, from the crypto crowd. And what is that exactly? What is it? Well, it's Deep Dive with DNI, none other than DNI, Digital Nomad Investor, and Jeff, who's my co-host on the roundtable. So what's going on, Richter? He's popping in here. Guys, tweet this out. I know it's kind of unscheduled, but last week I really wanted to stream. I just never got around to it. Why didn't I get around to it? Well, I was a little bit tired, man. There's a lot of weird stuff going on, but we're going to jump into some stuff. We're going to get there, as some more people bounce into the room. I have a new setup. Like you said, I'm in my, Miami Beach loft, my South Beach loft. And if you listen really well, you can hear a little bit of that traffic going on out there. You hear that? Yeah. Some traffic. Every once in a while you might hear a cow. Oh, no, that's right. There is no traffic. There's nobody on the streets. That's why you don't hear anything. Interesting. Yes, interesting. So anyway, I want to say we got some cool things coming up, right? So there's a very big trader who you guys know and love out there. I don't know if you love him, but you know him. And he is very bullish on XRP. And he's kind of been all over the place. That's going to be coming up. And also, we're going to dive into some adoption. We're going to talk about adoption. This stuff is happening every day. And we're like, so what? I don't care. I don't know. Did it happen? Did we moon yet? And really, we got to pay attention to this because it's pretty interesting. And there is a new tropical oasis that's getting very, very chummy with crypto. And it's not Bermuda. Where is it? Is it one of the islands? They're getting very chummy. They're getting, sort of chummy chum. And that's going to be coming up right as we go. Chip here with the XRP Minute. We are back on our original, well, it's a new time slot, really, 10 o'clock, 9:30-ish. I may go earlier, but sometime around Wednesday. Now, I know we see New Zealand's in the house. I'm not even sure what time it is in New Zealand, but I'm pretty sure it's the next day. And again, I always enjoy talking with people in the future. That's always something fun. Hello, I see a big hello from Periscope. So we're broadcasting live in three places right now. We're broadcasting on YouTube. We're broadcasting on Twitter. Hello to Twitter. In two places on Twitter, on my personal Twitter account, and we're also broadcasting on the Chain account. So you'll always see that playing, and you can always bounce in here. You can always go look us on the YouTube channel. But what's cool is you'll see the conversation in the chat here. So over there on Periscope, we have AceUp26 saying hello. Hello, cool. Yeah, so I'll be talking to you, and now that's integrated in here. And so it's kind of neat that we can be talking to people all over the place, right? Which is great. Connie's here. Hey, Connie, what's going on? How are you? And I wanted to get to a couple things tonight, but I think, there's a lot going on in the world. We're going to touch on three major topics, and let's get started. Let's jump right into it. Shall we? Let me hit the right button here, because that could be weird. I don't want to take us offline here, but let's go in here. So I kind of tease this a little bit in the open, and this is trading legend Peter Brandt. And we all have our opinion about Peter Brandt, but you got to say he is a legend. I will give him that. And he recommends buying XRP at a price level. But let's jump into that. What's the price level he's buying? Is it 13, 14, 17? No, not at all. So based on this tweet right here, let me see if I can move this up a little bit. So I don't even know is that a word? I don't even know what that is. At Hanyun77, I don't even know who makes up a name of that. But anyway, hello, Peter Brandt. My name is Tha. I live in Vietnam. I came to cryptocurrency through my friend's broker, and I've been buying Ripple since 2017. Probably has a nice little bag going on there, and I'm sure the gentleman understands how much I am losing. Would you please give me some advice? Peter Brandt says, Than, I highly recommend you buy more XRP at 0.00826. Now, I was personally waiting for 0.002, but, I think we'd all pull the trigger, but that's, kind of fun. That's Peter Brandt for you, so yeah, he recommends it, but at a ridiculous price. But what do you have? That's just a little bit of fun we had going there. Let's check in with the chat. Let's see who was first. None other than Jeff, co-host on the roundtable, who bounced in here. We have Carl Lewis, we have Jet Digital, we have Moonshot, Vet Bro, Matt Richter's in here, comedian Carl Lewis. What am I seeing there? Oh, Geo XRP. What's going on, Geo? How are you? Kenny Vincenti. Boy, what's going on in my eyes tonight? Then we got over on Periscope. We have AceUp26. And Connie's in here. Connie's always, she's always checking out things. She's kind of like the bouncer in here. She's kind of checking on things, make sure people are smashing those thumbs up. If it's your first time here, make sure you smash that thumbs up in. And something I want to point out, if you guys go to the description, now if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitter, obviously you're not going to see it. But if you go down there in the description, we have our very own free FREE. It was the first word I learned when I was a kid because I had to get the free prize in the cereal boxes. FREE. You will be able to join our Telegram group. There is no fee for it. We invite everybody. It's where we're put little instant, and you share something with the team, the group. We're all one family. But if you're on the chain, you're in the OTC family. That's where we'll be sharing stuff. So it's kind of cool. Join. It's free. What are you waiting for? I'm serious. Why wouldn't you do it now? You don't have to do it now, but I would do it soon. That's what I would say. We got Dan, the XRP man, in here. Hello from San Diego. That is Mark XRPLA. What's going on? Let's see who else in there. Guys, tweet it out. You don't have to, but I would love if you would tweet this out. Just get it out there. Doodle for XRP. Hey, what's going on? How are you? So I want to jump in this. This is just a little bit of fun I was having here. Yeah, he's bullish on it. Right. Let's jump in here. So Ripple Ledger XRPL is more decentralized and fair than proof of stake system. So I always like somebody from the community, especially somebody who we know and love here, basically highlighting this tweet right here, critics, and this is really great. I saw this when Sam I Am tweeted this out, but critics love to point Ripple's ownership of 56% of the XRP tokens and then claim they have centralized control of the blockchain. The XRPL doesn't allow staking and or voting rights. That's reserved for node and validators operating the network. here's how things can go wrong. And then if you look at the original tweet, I think they have this is just a graphic. But anyway, he goes into it about all the different things. And what I wanted to focus our attention on again is what is the real reason we got into XRP, right? It really had to do, and I put this video out the other day, but it really had to do with utility, right? We did our research. I mean, and maybe you didn't do a research. Maybe like you were more like me and a little bear told you, or a Ripple Riddler, and they're like, hey, psst, you got to buy this thing. And it doesn't matter how you got here. Maybe a friend turned you onto it, or maybe you lost a friend for life. And that's always possible because your friend bought in at $3.26, and they're hitting you up and blowing your phone up because they're like, hey, what's up, 15 cents? You told me this was going to moon. You told me this is the greatest thing in the world. But some people don't realize it's the long game. We're playing the long game. What do I mean long game? 15, 20 years? Yeah, that's long. It's actually shorter than that, right? And what happens when something goes down, right? It's bound to go back up. Now, if you look at who made the wealth in the world, when markets crashed, I don't care which market it was, when they went down, they were buying like crazed nutters. They were like pulling it in. They were like, I can't get enough. Why is that? Because they recognized one simple thing. The one simple thing they recognized is it's going to go up. Now, they could go down a little bit, but a lot of people sold. A lot of people got out of the market. A lot of people, look at precious metals. Everything's down across the board, but there have been times like this. This is not new. It's not new. It happens, and whatever goes down is going to go back up. Are you going to recognize it, right? I know you were a little bit weirded out when you bought at 26, and you're like, hey, can we get 4 for $1? How about 5 for $1? It's all possible. I want to highlight this. This is Randi Zuckerberg. She's very accomplished speaker. She hosts a show on Sirius XM. She's a New York Times best-selling author. She put together a really cool kids book. She's the creator of the Fairy Fall, which is like a new kind of sort of rethinking of a fairy tale. Anyway, she's got quite a bit of followers there, 189,000 followers if you look at it. And she just went on a tirade here. I really love this, right? So she went on a tirade. And I want to read some of her tweets because this is always really cool. She's like, I think Ripple will be taking off in the next 2 years. Now, this is from today. She said the world order will be reshuffled using blockchain technology, and I think Asia will lead the pack. So that's one of the things she said there. And also, if you see this, she calls out Ashish Birla, right? SVP of Product and Corporate Development at Ripple. Kind of cool. She tags him in it, but I want to get through this because what I want to do tonight is or today or this morning or good evening, good afternoon, whatever it may be, what I want to do is spend a little bit of time. Let's get down to basics. Let's talk about why we're in this. Let's don't be like freaking out about the virus. Whoa, Jungle dropped at $9.99. Thank you, Jungle, man. That's awesome. Jungle, good to see you in here. I want to refocus everyone's energy back to why we're here, right? What made this community go forward? Well, if you go through, I'm going to go through these tweets. So yeah, the whole point of blockchain is that you're removing the intermediary, whether that be the banks or other financial institutions. If you can't point to how you're removing that intermediary from your business, you need to go back to the drawing board. So again, she's tagging Ashish Birla right there. Identify how your product is better by using blockchain and really focus on that. Boom, she's tagging Ashish Birla on that. We need entrepreneurs focused on solving real problems with blockchain. One of the things we're going to talk a little bit about tonight is we're going to talk about adoption. Now, it's happening so often and so much that we don't even know anymore. It's like there's so many cool things going on out there that we don't even recognize it anymore. We're just like, whatever. And we're all like, when is it going to moon? Well, we got to pay attention to what's happening along the path. So she's absolutely right. And we have entrepreneurs that are focusing on this. Ripple's mission was to efficiently and safely move money as quickly as information moves today, right? Is she spot on? Where am I going wrong? She's right on there. And I found the Amazon of blockchain with Ripple. Boom! There she is, tagging Ashish again. Now, this went off in the period of, these are like just quick fire tweets. But again, I made a smart decision to join a startup that was involved in the internet wave right out of college. I loved being involved in something that was creating something out of nothing. And then blockchain made me feel the same way. Now, when you use your iPhone, you're using IP technology, and payments are moving around the world. People don't even know that Ripple makes their payments more effective. And that's a fantastic thing because it's frictionless motion. Now, we talk a lot about that, all of us YouTubers. Jungles probably beat this into all of our heads the most. But if you think about it, it doesn't matter if your friends know what Ripple is. Ripple's the software company and the centralized organization. And we go like XRP is the decentralized token. Don't worry about that. What you worry about is what is it going to create, right? What are entrepreneurs going to do with this? What are they going to make good out of this? And what they're doing and making is payments. I pick up a phone, I click a button, and I send it off to my friend in the Philippines, right? I send it off to New Zealand. Bam, just like that. 4 seconds later, people aren't going to be as interested as you that it's XRP. Now, we know and love it, but at some point, people won't even know. They'll know Ripple's a successful company. They'll know it's a blockchain company, but they won't really care. She says, I'm excited that we're seeing real-world adoption and the technology is really improving. We're using a digital asset to move money more effectively across borders. Ripple is revolutionizing the way payments move. Now, I got really excited when I read this tonight. I wanted to share it with you because this is, let's bring it down to basics, brass tacks. Rubber hits the road. Stop with all the wind, moon, and all this stuff. Guys, we made the investment. We know why we're here. We know why we're buying as much as we can. Maybe it's an addiction. Who doesn't have addictions? But it surely isn't a bad one, right? Because you're investing in your future. I always say be diversified, even though I'm not that diversified, as I've said in the past. Now, I'm thrilled to welcome to the show our next guest, Ashish Burla, Senior VP and Product of Corporate Development at Ripple. Okay, so she goes on and on. It keeps going. She talks about a little bit about Bitcoin, but I wanted to do this because, so let's go and see what Ashish. So this is something I probably should have put the link down below, but anyway, it was a pleasure chatting with you, Randi Zuckerberg. And I may joke a lot, but in all seriousness, it's times like these to reflect on whether what you're doing is actually solving a problem for someone. Product folks, we need more of you in the space. Let's build tech that matters. And another cool, interesting tidbit, I don't see if it's here, because when you're doing all this stuff, okay, I'm trying to see if it was one of these things. Anyway, her father's somebody known in the space as well. He wrote a blockchain book, so she's just steeped in blockchain. Imagine how cool that is. I want to jump over to the chat for a moment here and see if anyone else bounced in. Moneybags is here. What's up? D3 is here. Digital Dinero Dave. And that's a tongue twister. Try to say that 17 times fast. I'm lucky if I can get one good one out. B Freeze here. BZ Comedy Channel's here. What's up? Yeah, it keeps freezing in boot. Yeah, I thank you for leaving that comment, BZ. It's something I'm looking into and get a chance to do. Jade, what's going on? How are you, Jade? XRP Hodler for live. What up? I love when people spell what up like with the WT, It's just really cool kids do that. It's like, hey, what up, and you got to know what you're dealing with there. So that's always pretty fun. Let me see here. Did I go dark here? I don't know. For some reason, I went red. I don't know what happened. My stream health kind of died a little bit. I don't know. Seemed like it sort of like popped off for a second. Don't know. Anyway, you guys can tell me in the list. Yeah, always a cool kid. Yeah, for some reason, it's showing red. And this is what I like about streaming. I have really good throughput. Got a new rig. Got a new setup. But sometimes that happens. But you'll let me know if it's falling off. And I'm not sure why it's red. Everything else should be golden. Who knows? Who knows? Let me move right along here. If it's not going well, all good. Okay, Connie says it's all good. I'm just getting if Connie tells me it's good, I know I'm good to go. So anyway, I want to refresh our minds. Let's do a refresher course. When you're cramming for the big final and you're like, I got to know it all. It's overload. I don't know what to do. But then all of a sudden, like 2 years passes and you're like, man, I forget 90% of that. So let's suppose you got to retake a test or you got to whatever it may be, or you got to know something or a certification. And all of a sudden you're like, you got to go back to basics. And that's what we're doing here. We're bringing it back to basics. Let's go on here. So this is what I was talking a little bit about. So BitGo allows customers to extend crypto insurance cover over 100 million. Again, this is always good news for the space. They came out with the Lloyd's-backed cold storage insurance product in 2019, allowing customers to extend the 100 million worth of cover to suit their needs. It's a sign of the continued maturation. Boy, I always stumble on that word. Maturation. Jeez, of the crypto insurance sector. Now, there's something too that I'll probably cover in another one too. But you want to go with something if you're going to put your I did a little bit of research, and this will be probably another video, but you got to be careful. Like if you're looking at in IRAs, you're looking at moving money there. I did some research on that. You got to be careful. You got to really follow the line down the rabbit hole to see if they really are insured. So this is actually really good news for the space. I always love when this happens. Wanted to go into here. So Coinbase, this is kind of a new development, and I'm guessing this really will happen with everything. But Coinbase connects Google Pay with Ripple, XRP. You know, they're finally getting a little bit better. They're putting Ripple, and then they're putting XRP. They're like, we don't know. It could be Ripple, it could be XRP, but if we put them both in there, we will cover our bases. So anyway, basically what's happening here, and do I have another one? Yeah, I think I got another one here. Yeah. So the Coinbase card. So now, we don't have this in the US, but obviously I think it works in Europe. If you have this Coinbase card, it's basically a Visa-backed card, and what you can do is you can add it to your Android phone. And I don't think you can do it yet. At least I don't think you can do it yet, but you might be able to do it in the future, and maybe you can now. But I know it's a big deal for Android people. So you have this card, and basically it's hooked up to your wallet. What you would in a sense be doing, let's say you have your Coinbase card and you have XRP, and you're going through and you're like, hey, buddy, can I buy you a coffee? I've just been ringing your ear for the last 40 minutes about how the virtues of XRP and the company Ripple. How about I buy you a coffee, pal? And you slide that baby through the slider or whatever. Or actually, in this case, you would just put up your phone, bleep, bleep, like that. You do a little thing, a face ID, a thumbprint, whatever it may be. And all of a sudden, you're like, hey, I just bought you a coffee with some XRP. Any questions? I'll be here all day. Tip your bartenders and hostesses on the way out. So that's what I hinted at a little bit before, but this is really exciting news, right? Because we always talk about regulations and there's stuff happening in the space and what's going on. So look at this. Hawaii hints at it may relax onerous rule to lure crypto firms. So we know about Bermuda, right? If you want to go somewhere, if you want to go to a colder country, yeah, there's some colder countries out there that are very crypto friendly, in Eastern and Western Europe. However, if you want to stay in the good old US of A, for me, I mean, quite honestly, Bermuda is just like a hop, skip, and maybe a jump, but we're there in 3 seconds flat. But this is exciting news. I wanted to get to this. Hawaii launches a sandbox for digital currencies. The Office of the Governor of Hawaii issued a press release to announce that the state has launched its first pilot program for digital currency. 2-year initiative. It's called the Digital Currency Innovation Lab. It's a joint effort involving the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs, Division of Financial Institutions, the DFI, and Hawaii Technology Development Corporation, the HTDC. Press release says, wants to achieve a more in-depth perspective of digital currency, allow digital currency issuers, not me personally, but that's us. That would be people like Ripple. It wants to allow digital currency issuers to do business in Hawaii without obtaining state money transmitter license during the effective period of the pilot program. Now, does this sound very familiar to you? It might sound somewhat familiar because it sort of echoes some of the things we've been hearing in that crypto bill, right? Give you a 3-year window. You got to build something. You can't do a token sale, but you have 3 years to build something that's decentralized. So it's kind of cool now. You go like regulation sounds boring. What this is exciting. Why is it exciting? For one simple reason. It's Hawaii, man. Did you see this? Maybe we missed this part. Those are tikis, man. This is gorgeous. They don't even have any mountains in there. Actually, quite honestly, I don't even know if that is Hawaii. I don't see any mountains in the background, but it doesn't matter. It's warm. It's beautiful. There's a bunch of different islands you can go to, and there's active volcanoes you can sacrifice, I don't know, your altcoins on. You can throw some of them in there, the dogs. I wouldn't do too many, but you never know. You throw them on a Nano X, what is it? The Nano X, the Nano, whatever it is. You throw it in there, you toss it in there, you got a Trezor. I would throw my Trezor in there if you had one. That's a dog. But this is really good news. According to Iris Akita, the Commissioner of Financial Institutions, DFI has promised by issuing no action message that no action will be taken. So what they're basically saying here is like, hey, we're going to kind of look the other way. So, we're kind of opening this up, and it's a sandbox. So it's a test. Sandbox is affectionately referred to if you are if you want to open up something for developers, you put a sandbox together. It's where they can go in there and they can play. That's why they call it a sandbox. But basically, you can develop some stuff and see how it works and, put some code together. It's the same kind of a thing where they're opening up a sandbox for devs to come in and start playing a little bit around. But it looks like they're just going to look the other way. Yeah, and so Steven over on Twitter says, yeah, he loves Hawaii. And really, I've never been there. My wife wants to go there. I got to make it happen. When this takedown comes, I call it the takedown the takedown virus. Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, let's see, what's that bucket list again? I got to bring that out because, man, things are getting kind of weird out there. So we talk about this mass adoption. Look at this, huh? Argentina's gas regulator greenlights industry blockchain built with RSK tech. So this is kind of cool. We're start seeing adoption happening. We're like, when is everyone going to get crypto? When's it going to happen? Well, it's happening. You got to pay attention, Literally every single day there are stories about this adoption, right? So Argentina's national gas regulator has given Gasnor, a natural gas distributor, for 2 million residents approval to pilot a smart contract-based certification platform. Okay, this is kind of cool because this is a utility company, and you look at the people that are like the last ones to adopt. I don't know if this is state-owned or not, but generally, they're not real big. These, your power companies and, your gas companies, they're usually the last ones to find out about blockchain. The conversation goes like this, like, hey, have you heard of blockchain? And be like, blockchain? What's that? And they heard of Bitcoin? Yeah, I've heard of Bitcom. If you're Maxine Waters, you call that Bitcom, right? I've heard of it. They'll be the last ones to know. So this is really cool. It's a permission blockchain platform from IOV Labs and software builder Grupo Sabra. It was launched Wednesday with approval from regulator Enegas. So when you get regulators involved and they're doing a test bed, now 2 million residents isn't a lot. I don't even know. You guys probably can Google this faster than I can find out, but how many people actually live in Argentina? But still, this is big stuff, and this is adoption. And when you start looking at utility companies, a natural gas company pioneering something like this is good stuff. So they're basically going to use the blockchain to certify different steps, said CEO Diego Gutierrez. They're giving private keys to each one of the professionals involved in the process, so they do the certification with this shared system. So this is kind of a cool thing that we're seeing actually happen, right? What the heck? This thing? There we go. Yeah, you know what, man? This is... look at this. I love these guys. I mean, these are nerds. They're just nerds, gamers, whatever. I mean, just take a look at them. They got to be programming devs. I love these guys, man. They're making the world a better place for all of us, really. I mean, it really is fantastic. Let's go on here. Hey, look, it's our favorite pal. It's Jack Dorsey, right? Jack Dorsey. So this is pretty cool. Square, a payment system. Also, Jack Dorsey's also the CEO and founder of this. He's actually a co-CEO. He's like CEOs. He like moonlights on his own company. He's kind of like a CEO at Twitter for like a couple hours, and he like bounces over to Square. And he's like, "Hey, what's up? Anything happened? Who took all the free brownies in the mess hall, the commissary?" And he bounces in. He might say hello to the people, whatever. And if recently there was a little bit of discussion about him doing double duty, right? Because it's not enough to be a CEO of one company, but so Square's launching a bank basically in 2021, and we talk about this. Jeff and I talk about this all the time. The lines are getting very blurred when you think about it, right? So exchanges will end up becoming banks. Banks will become exchanges. Might be easier for a bank to become an exchange. If you look back in the 90s, you used to say like, "Oh, I'm a webmaster. I'm the master of the web." And it was just, a webmaster was anybody that built a website. There was no front end, no back end, no full stack developers. It was just, hey man, I am a webmaster, and you just built websites. But you were just one person trying to figure it out. There wasn't a lot of underlying tech. There really wasn't a lot of standards yet. But if you look at what's happening, you got a payment system. Square is one of the big unicorns out there, and they're one of the top 3 payment systems. Very good payment system, by the way, but they do take some pretty hefty costs. They're 2.9% plus 30 cents. So for the little guy, you kind of get hurt. You're in the 3% range. That's where crypto is going to change that whole thing. But again, this is on its way. Now, Dorsey tweeted out earlier, if you go to Jack Dorsey's feed, I didn't pull up the Twitter feed, but their Cash App, you can have, normally you have like an @ symbol, but you have the cash symbol with your name. He's like, hey, so this is funny because the Cash App actually tweeted out, hey man, we know people are hurting, we're gonna give out money. And then if you looked in the comments, it was like, scammer, these are all scammers. So it wasn't until Jack Dorsey retweeted it there was like, oh, I guess this is legit because they were giving away money. All you had to do is go in your Cash App and then put your handle in there. Apparently, I'm still waiting for mine. I mean, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it's going to happen. Let me see if anything's hit my Cash App. No, it says right there. There's nothing. It says right there, nothing there. There's nothing. No. So anyway, it's also a really good way. It's one of the things I like about it, is a really good way to buy Bitcoin as well. So you can pay people very easily. It's like a Venmo, but a little cooler because you can have a cash sign, which only really plays in the U.S. I don't know. Or you can buy Bitcoin. So this is one of the things that a lot of people have been acquiring a lot of Bitcoin. They had a stat that was out. I can't, for the life of me, remember what the hell the stat was. What's going on, Patricia C? She's in here. XRP hodler for life. Chip Ripple seems pretty quiet these days. Well, I think it's quiet these days. Any speculation and thoughts? Are they doing things behind closed doors, or of a business really halted because of the virus? Curious about your thoughts. It's funny because I'm kind of like split on this, right? I don't know. I think a lot of the quiet you're hearing. Yeah, there's always stuff going on behind the scenes. If you remember, it was Brad Garlinghouse. He was at some conference, and someone's like, so tell us more about your 400 plus partners. He was like, no, we were talking about employees. No, we were talking about, right? Sometimes things leak out a little bit, but it's probably not a really good time to be out there tooting your horn. Like if you notice, press releases have kind of been scaled back. Because this is how it goes with the colleagues in my office. Like, so how you doing? Anyway, coronavirus, how's it going? COVID, like everything out of people's, all people can think about right now, that's all they can think about is this virus and the way it's having an impact on families. So I think part of it's that. And if you look at, there's a lot, I was shocked the last couple days how much news is going on out there, but it's kind of getting buried and suppressed, right? And it's just not good timing. Businesses look for ways to, you don't want to be out there touting your horn or pushing something really big. So I think it could be some of that. I also think that there is a lot going on behind the scenes, right? If you watch on, Twitter, if you watch the community, you see all kinds of amazing people, researchers, you've seen the tweets and you're going, things that make you go, there's something going on behind the scenes, right? And if you were going to go ahead and crash the Fed, if you were going to do something different, if you were going to make something happen, well, geez, what would you do? Well, this would be something interesting to take advantage of here, right? So I look at it like this, that I think it's kind of a split decision there. And we will probably see things, especially with blockchain. Look, the world goes on. We get through this. We push through it together. This is one of the reasons I really wanted to refocus all of our attention on this. I think it's a really good question. I'd like to hear what you guys think. Best way to do that, I'll miss the chat, but if you put it down below, I'd love to see what your thoughts are on that because, maybe you're in line or maybe you disagree a little bit, but just jump in the chat. If you're on Twitter, comment on the tweet and put it in there. Obviously, I know you're putting it in here, but comment on it because one of the things that Jeff and I are doing and the rest of the contributors, we're looking at these comments, and we also have a Telegram group. If you look down there, it's a little link down there. Our Telegram group is free. It's free. I think it said it's free. If Jeff was here, I would be like, Jeff, is it free? He'd be like, yeah, it's free. So you can just jump in there. But it's kind of, we're building our own little tiny little community there. We share little articles and things. But I don't know if that really answered it, but I think people are being quiet kind of everywhere. If you got something you were looking at, introducing, you might put that off a little bit. But it is a really good question. And I have to say, XRP hodler for life, I have to say, we're going to have to pay attention to this. We're going to have to watch that closely because it has been a little unusually quiet. So that's a great observation. So I want to jump into this. I want to jump into this Chinese virus. I know so a lot of people would get their feathers ruffled a little bit. I don't know if you guys know Zuby. He has a really awesome podcast, but this was a really good observation. He's like, if something originates from China, is it racist to call it Chinese? I can't keep up with the rules. And, it's kind of weird. It's like, so obviously a lot of people are talking about it because Trump focused on it. Trump called it the Chinese virus and people are freaking out. But, he had the Rocky Mountain fever, you had the swine flu. Usually there is a customary sort of a naming convention that if it comes from an animal or if it comes from a location, you kind of cite the location. I don't think there's any ill will there by going ahead and suiting that. So if you guys don't know Zuby, he's got a really good podcast. I think what the hell? Yeah, it's what is the Zuby podcast? But anyway, he's good. He does a lot of good stuff in the space. He's not a blockchain guy, but he's really good. I really liked what he was talking about. So here we go. So the Japanese flu drug appears effective in coronavirus treatment in Chinese clinical trials. There's a lot to unpack in this headline. The reason I have these two back to back is it racist to call it a flu drug that seems effective? You see what I'm saying? You're citing the origin of a drug that was created to combat that, something that could be effective. So this is where I get a little split on this, and I understand if some people get a little bit upset about it. You know, I personally call it the Wuhan virus because that's where it originated. That's a lot. And if you looked early days of press, that's also what it was called. There was a writer out there that called out the media 30, 40 times where they called it the Wuhan virus, the Chinese virus. This is going back like 60 days, right? And all of a sudden they're all offended by it. But meanwhile, they were all talking about it. So this is how it goes. So would it be weird if we just said there's a new flu drug and it appears to be effective in the coronavirus? We don't want to cite that where it was created. So if it's a good thing, if it's a bad thing, we kind of want to give some credit. Where did it originate? Where did it come from? I don't know what you guys think about that. The Spanish flu is another good one. Yep, thank you for that. We called it the Spanish flu. I don't think there was any ill will towards people in Spain of any kind, right? So yeah, we have to, I don't know what you call it. You call it a Japanese flu drug. Yeah, that's one of the things. So I think it's associated to Chinese nationality rather than simply the country. That's why I like to use the word Wuhan, because it's more the area that it came from, right? So here's another one. Fear of coronavirus tainted dollars opens a new front in the war on cash. So this article right here appeared in the LA Times. The signs began appearing around Seattle on the windows of Dick's Drive-In, the city's iconic burger chain, said, in an abundance of caution, we'll ask you please pay with credit or credit card if possible rather than cash. Well, why is that? Well, cash is made out of paper. It has fibers in it, and they're really worried about this. I think I'm a little bit worried about credit cards, right? So someone gives you your card, really the best way to pay these days. I mean, I think the next evolutionary step in this is, I'm sorry, you can only use Apple Pay or you can only use Google Pay or Venmo or something along the lines of that, because nothing changes, right? It's RFD technology, you pop it up to that and bloop, bloop, you hit your thing. Every time I see that, I like that because I'm like, I don't have to reach in my pocket. But it's also weird, too. You're also protecting that person. You hand them the card. They take the card, or sometimes you put it in the machine, whatever it may be. It's always something kind of weird. And anyway, this is one of the things that cropped up. So we got a lot of fear going on around fiat. Now, it's not exactly what we envisioned. We were like, hey, we got to get rid of fiat. We got to crush it. But now here's a real health scare where people are really legitimate. Hey, Tom Mullins, what's going on? The Federalist also did a 17 diseases named after places or people. Yeah, thank you for that, Tom. 17. Okay, so again, we're just following suit with what we've done, before. I know people are, I had a really ridiculous argument with a coworker and we were like, all right, we were escalating, and it was the dumbest thing. It was like, hey, is that a piece of paper? It's a piece of paper. What paper? I'm kind of making it more ridiculous, but I looked at him like, man, that seemed like a whole ridiculous thing we did there. He's like, yeah. I go, I think we're just on edge. Yeah, everyone. So you're kind of noticing that. A lot more people stay shut in. A lot of people, but, be kind to people, man. My neighbor who's probably in his mid-70s, I said, hey, if you need something, didn't get too close, I will run it for you. If you need me to go get something, I'll run it. I'll put it on your steps. I'll take care of it. He's like, I really do appreciate you saying that. That's how we help people, man. This is how we make a difference. What can you do for your neighbor? What can you do for your community? Can you do for an elderly couple? There was a great story, I think it was Seattle, where a couple was terrified in their 80s, sitting in their cars, shaking. It was so much pandemonium going on in the store that they actually said, hey, can you help? Can you basically, somebody knocked on the window, do you need help? They said, we're afraid to go, terrified to go in the store. So a young lady went in the store, bought them all their stuff, put it in their car for them. This is how we help people. So you got to look at the good side of this stuff. I want to talk about this. Here's something. I know Patricia C, if she's in here. There she is. So she wrote a really cool blog post today, State of Emergency in place from midnight. So this is pretty serious too. So you see Portugal. Now, one of the things we love about Portugal, obviously there's a lot to unpack here because, this amazing wine country. But if you look at this, Portugal is now in a state of emergency. President addressed the nation tonight. And after, and this is what like she said, after 15 minutes of uplifting talk from the president, if you didn't know what the effects were of state emergency are, you're pretty much without knowing what it is and how it'll affect you on a daily basis, right? And Palm Beach County, the county that I live in, went under a state of emergency on Friday. Then Florida's on a state of emergency. Now we got cases here. Now my wife has her master's degree. She's basically 2 classes away from graduating. Now that's going to be ripped from her. She can't graduate. Can't have a big hoopla about that. And 6 of the students came back from Ireland to Nova University. Actually, it's really close to where Jeff is, down south of me, and they came back and they tested. So they closed the school down. Now, something I don't agree with. They're actually kicking the students out of the dormitories, which I think is bad. Where are they going to go? And where are you going to go? Back home? I mean, you might not have a place. So I feel like some of this stuff's getting a little bit out of hand. Maybe they don't want that. So here's some of the liberties you can lose in a state of emergency situation: the right to travel, right to leave home unless it's for medical care, buy groceries, the right to go on strike, the right to conduct a Pacific manifestation. I don't know what that is. You have to elaborate on that a little bit. But it's absolutely right. And so what's happening, I believe it's in Louisiana, the mayor of Louisiana basically suspended Second Amendment rights, saying you can't buy a gun in this period of time. Now, I mean, I know we're upset about this, people, but let's face it. Is this the way you're going to suspend a constitutional right? I don't think so. So that will eventually get overturned. But what are you going to do about it now? I mean, the Supreme Court's not even in session. Not like they could even hear it. But you can't be doing stuff like this. But this is exactly what's happening right now. So I'm on Safari. I'm guilty, but I don't know if there's a Safari plugin, but I use Safari because it uses less resources on my system. And if you notice, so Patricia C., good read there. If you guys aren't following, I would urge everybody to follow Patricia C. Puts out a lot of good content. She also has a YouTube channel. If you click on her icon there, go ahead and click on her, those little 3 dots next to her name, and go sub her channel, because she does a really good Coil roundup. She's done some really good interviews, especially with the Coil co-founder. So I would urge you guys to pay attention to what's going on there. And again, she cranks these blogs out, man. I write blogs too, man, but I'm telling you, man, I can't crank them out like some people in the community. They're just very efficient at it. What's going on? Let's go next here. Okay. So this is one. The COVID ID began. I talked to U.S. mask manufacturer who'd been warning for years that the offshoring mask making was a mistake. Colleague Paris Martineau revisits him today, ramped up for production 400%, turns away orders for millions daily. You imagine you have a shop. So this was a really good story. The biggest U.S. manufacturer gets 200 plus calls a day and emails from people who are just desperate. You got hospitals looking for it, elderly people, parents of immune compromised children, and then you've got the wannabe price gougers, these people that are constantly looking to capitalize. There was a kid who went out and bought basically all of the hand sanitizer, and he was taking pictures of it like he was sitting there with stacks of money, like, look at me, until the local officials kind of knocked on his doors and says, that's price gouging. And he's all of a sudden, hey man, I'm donating it. So he kind of sort of salvaged himself in a weird sort of a way. But this is another thing we've discovered in this whole thing. The U.S. was farming so much stuff out to China. Now, a scenario when China says they're not going to help us and they're not going to provide anything or medical stuff or medical or medicine, period, that's something where it's like a little bit of a hostile sort of a thing going on there, and we got to take another double look at this. So I really applaud these guys ramping up production 400%, because really they're the only ones. They used to make $250,000 a day. Now they're making $1 million a day, and it's not nowhere near the 330 million we need, right? So we're learning fast on some of the things. Mario Diaz Balart, he's a congressman who is in Miami here. He basically had he has the virus. He says he's feeling better. Said it's important that everybody take this seriously, follow the CDC Gov guidelines in order to avoid getting sick and mitigate the spread of the virus. We need to continue. So it's one thing for a politician to preach, oh, I think you should do this. They go like, don't do as I say, or don't do as I do as I say. Listen to me. I'm a big politician. I'm important, and, I'm going to have a good life. But what we're seeing as politicians are coming down with this. You see the Trudeaus, Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada and his wife have it. So, this is a good wake-up call for everybody. No one's immune from this. Doesn't matter how who you are, what your social economic scale is. This doesn't have any barriers, and it basically hits everybody. I'm just doing this because I want to see over here. I want to talk about something really important, guys. I want to close this out here. And but before we get there, let's do it. Can we have a little bit of fun here for a second? So if you guys know this right here, this is, if you guys seen this picture, it's basically plastered everywhere. This right here is what the COVID ID virus looks like, right? It's like a little spongy ball that has like these little red things popping out of it. And I've seen all different sort of, and I guess this is what the COVID, is it the 19 virus, 1757, the Wuhan virus, whatever, guys, don't give me grief. If you want to give me grief. So basically we have to analyze this. Now this was, let's go in a little bit deeper here. Let's see what we have. Can't quite make it out. It's coming in. Wait. So this is from bornmiserable.com. And if we look at it, boom, check it out, right? So yeah, it turns out it's just a collection of Make America Great Again hats, right? So let's zoom out again. So there it is, right there. That's what it looks like. Yeah, see, put the little CDC sticker down there. It's official. So I found this got to find a little bit of humor here and there. What's going on as we magnify and sort of intensify here. And let's talk about. So in this whole thing that we're dealing with here, and I've been preaching this pretty heavy right now, but. We kind of went to this, we got a Tushy. The Tushy here is this bidet contraption you throw on your toilet. And, our family cut down 90% on our toilet paper usage, right? We were at a point where we're like, toilet paper, what the heck is that? We haven't bought toilet paper in forever, And interestingly enough, a little side story, the people, I work in a 3-story office building, and somebody thought it was a good idea to take all like boxes of toilet paper, and they ripped off the entire building. So, it was kind of weird. I'm like, I'm not going in the office anymore. But if I was, I'd probably have to bring an emergency roll that I would keep in my, my backpack that I'd pull out, that, and, some hand sanitizer, sand sanitizer, whatever. It's all the same, right? So I talk about this Tushy thing. It's at Hello Tushy. Don't go to tushy.com. You get a whole different website. I made that mistake by telling a colleague. Not a good thing. Didn't work out so well. But anyway, and I don't even like the word bidet, right? I mean, so what does this thing do? They even have a little portable one here. They make TP out of bamboo. But I wanted to get in this thing because one of the greatest things about this thing, their advertising is funny. Butt tested, bust approved. Michelle B, she loves it. She's a real pooping human, and she digs it, right? There's all kinds of fun reviews like that. Frequently asked questions about the Postier, and then they have a little Tushy TV thing here. But so you can get this classic one right here. Let's take a look at this. Let's jump over here, right here. So what it looks like. Comes in all kinds of cool different colors you can get. And this is what it looks like. You toss it on there, throw it in there. I literally installed this thing in about 7 minutes, right? Now people go like, where's the water coming from? The line comes directly, the same line. Check that out. There's no debate. Your Tushy's are primary choice. So there's a little line that comes out. There's a little feeder line. It does not, see, this is kind of weird. It looks like it's coming from there. It's not true. There's another line that comes up here. And look, you can save money, people. Just do this. Would you just get one? I was going to put my affiliate link down there, but I don't have an affiliate link. But I'm just trying to like pass on good news to people. I do love my Tushy, man. I talk about it all the time. Look at this. Do your do. Turn the knob. Find the perfect angle. So, man, there's some serious force going on right there, right? It's got a little adjuster thing in there. And look at this, man. Bum is slick as a whistle. Check that out. Matt D loves it. Bum approved, I mean, this is great. Better than any diamond my husband ever gave me. Think about it. Lottie B, she's ecstatic. She's going crazy. She's loving it. Clean as F. Love my Tushy. So I love it, man. I love this. These are real actually stuff. I withhold pooping at work. I just come home and poop and use my Tushy. I honestly look forward to pooping now that I can use my Tushy, right? So yeah, that's it's good time stuff. Sometimes dark times call for drastic measures. Get yourself a Tushy. If you don't have one, I've stayed at hotels before they have the Tushy, and that's always kind of a fun little thing. But let's jump back out here. Let's jump back out to full screen here. There we go. Yeah, here we go. We're back. I want to jump through the comments here as we sort of wind this puppy down. How are we doing on time? Yeah, we're 48 minutes. It's kind of where I wanted to be. So let's see. What are we talking about here? Let's see. What do we got going on? BZ comment channel. He just drags his arse across the lawn like a golden retriever. That's awesome. Yeah, well, dogs do that because they don't have TP, and that grass is the closest thing they're going to get. You know what I'm saying? Not the first time I've been told to find my perfect angle. What? There you go, Tom Mullins. Go to YouTube. Squatty Potty, it's so funny. Yeah, so Squatty Potty's good too. And they actually have their version of the Squatty Potty. Tom Mullins, let's see. Let's go back here to the browser here. Yeah, let's go back. So, let's see. So this is their version of what? Let's go back to Tushy here. Look at that, man. That's just, look at how fun that is. I mean, really, people? Come on. That is just fun. This is it here. It's called the Tushy Ottoman, but it's basically the same thing. It elevates your legs because it puts you in the position you're supposed to be in, as a human before we had all these toilets and all these neat gadgets and stuff like that, right? And boom, here we go. So I want to thank you for joining in tonight. Yeah, I want to thank you. Use your neighbor's lawn. Wow, it's getting a little weird in here. I have to say, it's getting a little bit on the weird side tonight. But yeah, thank you. Guys, we just want to just close it off. Remember why you got into this thing. Yeah, I really am stuck on the Tushy thing. And I got to tell you, Connie, you might be too if you like, I mean, it's really fantastic. Maybe I went a little crazy on it, but let's stop. We look at, when you look at buying TP, right? Look at, we're cutting down trees so we can stick it on our tush, right? I mean, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, right? I mean, you want to talk about killing the environment, man, that's like one of the worst offenders. What if the whole population used 80%? Why? Water's a lot less, it's more cost effective when you look at cutting and farming trees. And once they made the case for it, I was like, man, these guys are spot on. They really got something seriously going on here. Time to stock up on the Tushy. Once TP is completely gone, everybody wanted Tushy. Well, it may be too late, but I did read an article. Might have been in one of the Times, I don't know, but I read an article and they were saying that these bidet companies are experiencing a massive uptick, right? A massive uptick, and it's no reason. It's not hard to know why, but more 50-60% their business is up. Now, who would have thought that, right? Be honestly. How to Tushy video? Yeah, they're. You want me to do a Tushy video? No, we're not gonna. That's not what we're now. Yeah, it is awesome, Patricia C. It really is awesome. It's a little bit crazy and weird, but it really was my best purchase. I look back at 2019 and my best purchase, it was two things. At the top of this was XRP and then a Tushy. So there you have it right there from the chipster, the two things you want to get. Yeah, you'll buy it and you go down and leave a comment. You'll be like, man, Chip, preach, bro. You were on. And it's one of those things where I never would have thought for the life of me that would have been an interesting thing I would have capitalized on, but it is something. So do this. Go back, go into your lives, whether it's morning, afternoon, good evening, whatever. When we're out there, let's be nice to each other. Let's help somebody out if we can lend them a hand. We don't need to punch them in the head. We don't need to be part of the people that hoard toilet paper, right? And I was trying to explain to somebody the other day, I'm like, this, some things can give you the runs, whatever you want to call it. This doesn't give you diarrhea, okay? So I'm not really connecting with the whole TP thing. I'm not really understanding the thing. It's like, I really, what's the big deal? What is the big deal? I really don't know what it is. So anywho, that's what I would say. I want to thank you guys all for showing up tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. We have another channel. If you're not aware of it, we have another channel. The link is down below, or Jeff can pop it in there. But I wanted to say, go out there into the world, do good things, be good stewards, not only of crypto, but of the community. When I mean the community, I'm talking about the third rock from the sun called planet Earth. Be good. This is Chip. That's my take, and I am out.